Listen, we had a great day with the Primary Industry Leaders Forum, and obviously it's a sector that's doing incredibly well, growing very strongly, providing huge opportunities for New Zealand. Big part of why we have a trade surplus for the first time in 5 years, and a sector doing incredibly well. We talked a lot about how we have more ambition, more aspiration, keep the foot flat out on the accelerator, going for even more growth in this great sector. But with that, happy to take your questions.
Latest One News national at 29%. What are you doing wrong?
We don't talk about polls. As I said yesterday, we've got a lot of work to do to make sure New Zealanders understand we've got the long-term plan to actually grow the economy, to make sure that people can get ahead. And the alternative is pretty clear. It's just tax more, spend more, borrow more. Great leap back to the pain we've got to. Yeah, I did. I spoke about it like I spoke about most polls.
You did 2.5 years.
Great.
What personal responsibility do you take for the position the National Party is in?
Oh, look, guys, there's lots of public polls, and I don't comment on polls for that reason. My message is very clear to you. New Zealand National has a long-term plan for the economy. It's about growing the economy. It's making sure that life is more affordable for people. That's the job between now and the election. I want as every party vote I possibly can secure across this country. I'll make no bones about that, because I want National Party ministers in the next government, not ministers from other parties, naturally. That's the best answer.
What's your message
Sorry.
to National Party MPs who might be feeling nervous because of their position on the list? You might lose a dozen on this poll.
We are all very focused on what we have to do. We came through a great National Party conference. We've got great energy amongst our members, our supporters, our caucus. We're very focused. We have the long-term plan for New Zealand. It's been a challenging few years for sure, but we're now coming through a recovery. We've got the long-term plan, and frankly the alternative of a Labour, Te Pāti Māori Greens, tax more, spend more, borrow more, creating the ungodly mess that we're having to clean up is not the answer. Okay.
2.5 years though to convince voters to sell them something different.
Look,
they're still not right?
Look, I've spoken about the poll, so that's it. Thanks.
Are you alarmed at how much the government is spending with social media giants overseas?
No, I think it's important that we spend money with all the media outlets and players in order to get our messages out to the people.
So you're not alarmed at all at the amount that's going offshore?
No, it's about government. If we've got messages in a fragmented media, in a new media environment, we use all the media outlets we possibly can to get our messages out. That's entirely appropriate.
What about the tax settings? Are you happy with the tax settings?
Well, that's a different story. The tax settings, what we've determined is they are common to many countries around the world. The way that we deal with that is not solely by New Zealand, which is 1% of the global economy. It's actually by working with others in a multilateral way through organisations like the OECD, and that is work that needs to be addressed, and that is a situation that needs to be addressed as well, but we do that in concert with other partners.
So you are doing something about it, or are you just letting the OECD sort it out?
No, we're working. It's an issue that's common to many countries around the world, as you understand, and so we need to work with other countries in order to get a solution in place. We do that in a multilateral way, and we do it through the OECD, and those conversations continue to progress.
We're a sovereign nation, though.
Sorry? I haven't given it any thought. I mean, I've talked at the beginning of the year of the parties that we would work with in coalition. I know some of our opposition parties haven't done that, but the parties that are in Parliament I'm clear about. Looking at top, frankly, it looks like a vote for Labour and the Greens. They want a land tax. They want to make every New Zealander a beneficiary with the universal basic income. It doesn't. I haven't looked at them too closely, but it looks like a vote for Labour and the Greens, frankly. Sorry. Oh, look, I've run into them from time to time, their leadership, but I just would say to you, no, I think that's a vote for Labour and for the Greens. Yep.
What if it comes down to coalition negotiations and they need them?
Well, I'm just trying to be clear to you. I look at the policy prescriptions I've seen. There's only been, I think, 3, roughly. It's basically a 1.75% land tax. It's making every New Zealander a beneficiary with the UBI, and I think the KiwiSaver program, which is probably more aligned to what we announced on the weekend. So I haven't given them any thought. They're not in Parliament, but it does look very much like a Labour Greens agenda.
They seem to be trying to position themselves in the centre as a sort of New Zealand first type positioning. Does that not mean you should be open to talking to them?
Oh, I just said to you, I haven't given them any thought. They look like their policy prescription looks like a Greens and Labour policy prescription. Sure.
The mill in Northland that's shut down, 200 jobs to go. Aren't you meant to be fixing the economy? And yet we've got 200.
Yeah, we are, and that's really why a failed Labour Greens energy policy was unacceptable and caused huge damage to lower middle income working New Zealanders. That is a major problem where, when you have an ending to the oil and gas ban, we don't have gas for our mills and our heavy industry, and people lose their jobs because of it. And that's why you're seeing from this government a much more sensible energy strategy, which is, yes, more renewables being built in 2 years than the previous 8 years, but also thermal energy being in place, an LNG import facility, a natural coal reserve behind Huntley,
So it's
and likewise.
you aren't taking any responsibility for it.
Well, we're making sure that energy is a big part of what's been impacting our mills up and down regional New Zealand. That's because of a failed energy policy that meant that people lost their jobs. But what this government is doing is expanding renewables, making sure we've got a strategic coal reserve, a strategic diesel reserve, and importantly also creating opportunities for gas, either through an LNG import facility, co-investment, gas transition loans and other things. Sorry?
What about right now, though, for those people in high tide?
Oh, it's incredibly challenging. And that's why MSD will be working very closely with those families and those situations on the ground. But when you think about policy that ends up with people losing their jobs because of a failed energy policy, that's what we've been fixing up, and that's what we're doing. And so, things like the LNG import facility, you've seen it actually, in forward curves of electricity pricing, lowering prices. That's a good thing. So, we've got a lot of work to do to make sure that we don't want to see our mills shutting down. We don't want to see regional New Zealand losing jobs, all because of a failed, poorly thought through energy strategy from the previous administration.
Should the government step in and say Moana Pacifica? What's the latest on that?
No, I don't think the New Zealand public think that taxpayer funds should be put behind a professional sports team. And so there may be things, as Minister Peters will have a look at, but I think New Zealanders would rightly look at that and say, we've put money in this before, it hasn't, it's failed. Is that the best use of our money? Probably there's other things like schools, roads and hospitals Kiwis would want more than a support for a professional sports team. Okay, team, thanks so much. Have a good day.